Hello and welcome to Bangers and Trash, where we just come off watching the best and worst films of 1920 and 1929, as rated on Letterboxd.com. Leave a like if you would. Nathan, how do you feel about the charcuterie board of film that we've been presented
It
with?
was quite a little taster's menu, I guess. So overall, I liked two of them quite a lot.
Yep.
I didn't really like one of them, and one of them was a fat joke, which I wasn't really vibing with, I guess.
Yeah. Let's I guess we'll go in like roughly that order. Let's end with the good ones this time
And
because
yeah, well, so in this one, there is a bit more I want to talk about the two 1929 movies kind of together a little bit. So we'll get to that in the interstitial, which is weird because they're two very different movies, but I think their differences kind of stood out to me.
one is very movie, and one is not really a movie, but the
Yeah.
easy one, the fat joke one, Indoor Sports by Tad, is a 3-minute animated short that is making fun of a fat woman for being fat.
Yeah, that's the plot, I guess.
That's really about it.
It was I normally wear a size 3. Shoemaker goes, "No, you don't." Then a cat goes, "Nah, she doesn't. She's fat." Haha. And then a stickman dives off of a diving board and climbs up the cat. That's it.
We're living in a post Cameraman's Revenge world at this point. There is no excuse for such like effort animation, I guess, because it's not very good. There's not many frames. The drawings are like fine. They've got that old like rubber hose.
You're very Betty Boop, right?
Yeah, maybe
Yeah.
adjacent. But I fiddled around because available on YouTube. I fiddled around with the playback speed a couple times. You have to bring that thing up to like a 1.75 for it to look like it's being animated rather than being
Yeah, a bunch
slideshowed.
of pictures. Yeah, I got that
Yeah.
feeling. It looked quite smooth at 3 times speed.
Yes, yeah. Which, you know,
Most things do.
you got limitations of the time, but like I said, we've seen Cameraman's Revenge. I think there was like some not Disney stuff, but Disney adjacent things happening around here. I've forgotten the name of it. The first ever like animation live action integration had a dinosaur, I think a Bronto, like playing around with a guy as projected on like a rear screen projection, and that's like pretty smooth looking animation.
Yeah.
This is just not really worth talking about, sadly.
Nah. Although I don't know who Tad is or why it's called Indoor Sports.
I guess the indoor sports is to do with the shoes because you get different shoes for sports.
Yeah, maybe. Not really a lot going on with it,
Tad,
to be honest.
no. Who is Tad? This is a great question.
Thomas A. Tad Dorgan. He was the original writer, apparently. He also
What's
wrote.
there to write? Like, there's not much to write.
Yeah. He also wrote a short called The Breath of a Nation. Not The Birth of a Nation.
Oh no.
I don't know that Tad was a Nazi.
So, Breath of a Nation appears to be another animated short where prohibition has taken effect and a guy's wife throws away all his lecture and throws away his liquor and lectures him.
Yeah, there you go.
So I think Tad is a guy who hates his wife. It's essentially what we're learning here.
You can also get the idea that Tad's wife was probably fat. Yeah.
Oh
no, Tad, get it together.
He's self-reported. 100 years later, we're learning a lot about Tad, and I don't like any of it, frankly.
Anti-wife guy.
Which really contrasts with our other 1920 film to completely skip over Indoor Sports by Tad, because...
Well, okay, 1 week, sick as fuck. I really liked 1 week.
Yeah, 1 week, Buster Keaton. Probably one of... He's got to be the most famous, like, stunt performer in film history, right?
Yeah, Buster Keaton's up there. It's just the guy who does the stunts. Like,
yeah,
even his name feels like a stuntman name.
It's an absurd name. It's like an Evel Knievel for contemporary audiences. So 1 week is a short little film. It's about 25 minutes or so. Buster Keaton is getting married to his bae, his sweet wife, who he loves quite a lot. They're given a plot of land by a family member, and there's a nasty man who is fiddling with, doesn't like their marriage, swaps around some numbers. The house that they're given is a build your own house, and with the numbers having been swapped, the house gets fucked up and built. insane movie, crazy. My notes are just a series of like large capitals listing everything that made me go, ugh!
I mean, the I know. So he has another shot in this. There's another movie where a facade falls on him and he manages to thread the needle through the window. But the part in this where that happens, he's so close to the window frame, dude. Like, it looks like he's gonna
Constant,
die.
constant series of Buster Keaton nearly killing himself and Buster Keaton's fictional wife nearly killing herself for the amusement of people 100 years later. Just a series of buffoonery that makes me very anxious because you're not used to this level of like viscerality in a stunt performance, I guess, right?
Yeah, it's crazy how deadpan they all manage to stay through like, every one of these stunts. But even like just the little slapstick is like incredible. It's all so well timed, so well done. The part early on, I said early, it's like a 25-minute movie, but early on when the miserly guy who hates Buster and his wife for getting married, the jilted ex-lover, where he's driving and they swap cars mid-drive because that's just what Buster
Insane.
Keaton does, I guess.
But he doesn't do it first. His wife.
Yeah, his wife does it
first.
first. And then he gets stuck between the two cars, and they're driving at like a reasonable speed while he's just straddled between the two of them. And then a guy on a motorbike drives between the two, catches Buster, he's left behind. So Buster grabs the bike and replaces a policeman in genuinely just like a beautiful little slapstick, like hits him with the cudgel, takes the hat, stands there, stops the cars, turns around, cudgels the cop, gives the cudgel to the jilted ex-lover while the cop isn't looking. The cop starts fighting the lover, and him and the wife get in the car and drive off. Just so well done. Such a good little bit.
And like there's an amount of movie magic, I'm sure, where they're like that section when the bike hits Buster in the middle, there's a very clear cut where they've, stopped recording and started recording to kind of let the stunt work.
Yeah.
But there's a real specific look that sped up footage has, especially from film back in this time period, which a lot of this I was looking for actively. And it's not there. Like, a lot of this stuff they just did at the speed it was given, right? You can kind of tell when someone's movements are sped up. And there's a few cases where you can kind of see it.
Yeah.
But stuff like when he's straddled atop a wall, like putting together a window or something, and the entire wall flips on a hinge, just as like a full 180 almost, and like he falls off of it there. Like that looks very much at real speed. It doesn't look like, they've slowed it down or they've done it slowly and then sped it up to give the impression of like a fast movement. It looks very real and just it's the knowledge that he lived through this gives you like the ability to watch it without cringing too much. But goddamn, there's a lot of like very near-death scenarios.
There's the part. So they've built the house and it's all janked up because obviously the guy swapped the things. And I think it's on the Friday the 13th of the week, where there's a big storm coming through, and the house is on a massive turntable for this whole scene.
Crazy,
absolutely obscene. But so he gets flung out of the house at one point, and he's trying to get back in, and they have like the porch, and as the house is rotating, he's like vaulting onto the porch, running, then vaulting off the porch of this fully rotating house, and he does this like 3 times.
Yeah, and like the weight of the thing for it to stand up to that level of it's spinning, the amount of mass you need, and to be that larger, like it clearly needs to have some solidity to it. It's not a real house, obviously, but there needs to be some amount of like weight and mass to it. So you botch this thing, you run face first into the house, that scrapes all your face skin off. Like, there's real danger involved here. And the fact that he just repeatedly does it is crazy.
Like, if he mistimed it and he got his like ankle caught in that fence,
it'd be
like it's taking
completely
the leg.
Scrambled.
Just... Yeah. I knew like the level of his stunts were absurd, but it is crazy looking back at this guy and going, how did you survive all of this?
Yeah.
Like,
and what surprised me more than anything else was the writing was kind of funny when it was there, like when the guests leave the spinning house and the old man is just like, very interesting setup you've got here, I'll come back later. I forget the exact wording, but like it was kind of funny. and even the framing. There's a train gag where they think the train's about to come
Oh,
and hit the
yeah.
house. So they're trying to move the house, and then the revelation is that it's on a different set of tracks, but the perspective of the camera didn't let you see that. And they go, "Oh, thank God!" And they walk away, and then the train comes back on the other set of tracks and just slams through the house. Like it's so predictable, but it's very funny in its execution.
Again,
And it's
it's
another one.
very Looney Tunes, right? Like, you can see it
Yes,
all in this.
yeah. Like we're getting a huge amount of Bugs Bunny, and in some of our other films, a bit of Porky Pig, if you
Yeah,
remember
oh,
that one.
no. Yeah.
Yeah, just a huge amount of like great slapstick comedy stuff. And again, I was thinking about with this being a young medium. I've talked about this a few times now. The understanding of perspective and the trust in the audience to like you fall into the bait of the train's about to hit them. Oh no, we've been tricked. Oh no, here's the real thing. A great amount of confidence. Like, was Buster Keaton directing this as well? Or was he just the? I think he was, right?
I think he did a lot of direction. I assume. Oh, I don't want to assume he directed it. Let's have a quick look, shall we? So, 1 week
Yeah.
with Mr. Buster Keaton. It was directed by Buster Keaton and Edward F. Klein.
There we go. Okay.
Which I
So
imagine
whoever,
stunt direction was primarily Buster, right? You'd have to assume, because he seems very, very at ease with the stunts.
yeah, yeah, and you need to be for the amount of stuff he does.
I also imagine there's a lot of him saying, like, no, no, trust me, this will work, to the rest of the crew. Like, he
I've
gives
done
that
this
vibe.
before.
Yeah.
I've done this insane thing multiple times over. You'll be cool. Yeah. Yeah, hard movies are actually discussed because it's pretty short, 25 minutes, and so much of it is in the watching. Like it's a lot of physical comedy, it's a lot of Looney Tunes slapstick stuff. Um, I don't want to just like list off the things that happen, so I'm
Yeah,
just
yeah,
going to
it's
give
not
this
just a
a
series of the
incredibly
stunts.
hearty recommendation.
I think that's the thing with Buster, right? So I knew his work. I'd seen, obviously, everyone's seen a couple clips of it. But I think watching one in full, I realized, like, oh, he really is that guy. Like, he was
Yeah.
doing that stuff.
Well, as well, like when you watch clips, your impression is like, oh, okay, this is an old 20s movie with a stunt in it. But then you watch it fully and like, oh no, this is a 25-minute movie and 20 minutes of it is stunts and gags. Like it
Yeah,
is packed.
it is very full on. It's also, like, uh, there isn't just, like, one or two, like, big keystone, like, oh, that's the danger shot. I feel like every time Buster's on screen, I'm like, okay, how is he going to risk his life in the next 3 minutes?
Huge anxiety over like you see, they've got the piano moving. He's working with a bathhouse. They're climbing a ladder up the side of the wall. He's put a door. This is what I mean at the writing. They're building the house for the first time, and they get confused because the front door is 2 stories up. And just the idea of like being mid-construction,
Yeah,
putting
put
the
the
door
door
there, and
in.
not realizing something's gone wrong. That level of just stupid joke really gets me in a way that I know you don't see that kind of like slapstick buffoonery
I also
much
love that
nowadays. I
that
guess Naked Gun.
that was maintained throughout the movie as well. Because the part where he's being chased around the house by the guy who's just pulled the chair out from underneath, and he leads him up to the bathroom where that door is, and like sidesteps him and opens the door, and
Yeah,
the guy runs out.
yeah. There was a geography to the house that is consistent,
Yeah,
even though it just looks like a lunatic, framed place.
I would love to see like a reconstruction of that house. I'd actually like love to like, just have a little walk around because like you have enough of the shots. That would just be a nice little like building
Yeah,
to
I
have. I
wonder if
wonder if
it's
anybody
actually a
has.
workable space because
Yeah,
clearly they're all individual, like separate sets, right? But you could cobble something together.
yeah, yeah. It would be cool, and the health and safety would be off the rails.
Yeah.
You would not be allowed to try and recreate any of the shit he did.
You would need multiple hard hats, and you'd probably still just end up accidentally snapping your own neck on something.
Yeah,
Like,
it's. I think like one thing that really threw me off with a lot of his stunts is I didn't realize just how willing he was to like throw himself off of things.
yeah,
Like this is a man who
yeah.
cares not for gravity or the hardness of a floor. Like he will drop.
Again, the impression you get is that when you watch the shorts is that a lot of the stunts are set up where he's going to land somewhere safe, but then you watch it in full, and there's so many pratfalls and like rolls and collapses and like near falls. He's climbing up the ladder and he goes to like grab something or push something, and the ladder spins backwards, so he spins around on the ladder to then recatch himself on the house. If you botch that, the ladder comes down. A ladder weighs quite a lot, and you're like 6 feet off the ground at that point. Like, it won't kill you, but it will hurt like hell.
He's a bouncy guy. I reckon the amount of like times he's taken a horrible fall, it's more than one.
Oh,
Like
definitely. I think the outtakes for this would have been like close to a snuff film, right? It would have been
yeah,
horrible to watch.
it's also, I don't know, the fact that he never seems to look worried. I mean, obviously, again, lots of shots, very professional. Like, it's very circus, and like I have such respect for people doing that kind of shit in a circus, because it's, I mean, the physical, like, just strength needed to do a lot of the balancing tricks and the throwing yourself around tricks. Like you mentioned with the ladder there, he's climbing down the ladder from the roof, and the ladder sways away from the house. He is the only thing in control of where this ladder is going, and manages to climb around the ladder while it stood 90 degrees straight up,
Just
and then
straight
let it fall
vertical,
back to the
yeah.
house. And you're like, that's not like an easy trick to do. That's not movie magic. That is just a gymnast. Like he
It
is.
always gets me when you get to anything that's like pre-90s and there is this like reality to everything you're seeing, right? Just because they didn't have CG, compositing was like not great. So when you see something that feels real, you can go like, oh, that actually happened. Like a guy just did that because he thought it would be funny or cool or interesting.
Yeah,
Crazy.
it's. I do want Buster Keaton to come up a bit more in these. I imagine he will, because I think
I
his movies are
think
all.
he does.
Yeah, they're quite good. Because he himself is an interesting guy. I'll save other facts about Buster Keaton for the future, but one that I
Mm.
found when I was just kind of perusing. So in his later years, I think it was like after movies for a bit, he was struggling with like alcoholism, having a bad time, and he got basically put into like a mental asylum, and they put him in a straitjacket for part of it, and he, using tricks he was taught by Harry Houdini, got out
Of
of his
course.
straitjacket in the asylum. And I'm
Oh,
like, what a guy! Like, can you imagine like that dude just walking
oh,
around? It's like, who taught you
bonkers.
that?
Just running into Buster Keaton, he does a backflip, slams his face into a wall. It's like, whoa.
It's just what a guy! Like, I don't know. He seems to have led quite a life, and I love that. I do love like the kind of real hardcore slapstick, because it's just a very hard thing to do, and I feel like people always
Yeah.
think it's quite goofy, it's quite silly, but again, like a lot of circus acts, it takes so much genuine skill and strength. Like it's not something you
And
can just
like
fall in.
resiliency, because the amount of times that you no doubt fail, like it, any one of these stunts would knock me out for a week, right? I would not be good to go to do anything after having botched any one of them.
Yeah,
And the
it's
fact that
you.
I have no doubt that he's botched it time and time and time and time again because you can't really rehearse for these things without just straight up doing them, right?
That's that thing, right? Strong enough to do it and tough enough to fuck it up. Like you can't. Like, you got to be able to fuck it up a couple times and keep trying.
But
Just
yeah,
cool.
1 week, like I don't really want to just detail everything here because, like I said, my notes are just big capital letters of me anxiously writing, like big fall, spinning house, piano swinging, right? It's very straightforward, but would highly recommend. It's available on YouTube. Give it a look. There's some good stuff in here if you appreciate comedy in like any regard.
Yeah, genuinely worth watching. Or just if you like a bit of physicality, right? You watching any kind of sport or anything, you'll get a
Yeah.
kick out of watching him pull this shit off.
Yeah, sport performance, comedy, like stunt history, film history, even little fourth wall breaks. Right, the his wife is bathing and she goes to grab a
Oh, the
towel out of the
hand.
bath, and a big hand comes over and covers the camera. It's like, oh, that's neat, that's clever. I
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
it.
Crazy how much more like there is in these movies than I thought with Buster Keaton. Like, because yeah, I had the same impression that it was just silly bits of slapstick with probably like normal 1920s comedy, but it really is just a full. performance, right? Like there's a
Yeah.
framing and then it's that. And yeah, really cool, really clever.
I
Big fan
think
of Buster.
when we get to more Chaplin, that's going to be more of like regular film with the occasional bit of slapstick comedy. I
Yeah,
think
I
Buster
think
Keaton was a psycho who just lived for this stuff, and Chaplin had, film intentionality that Keaton didn't.
I think that's the thing is Keaton is like a stuntman, but also got some good comedy chops. Chaplin was an actor who was willing to get hurt.
Yeah.
Both very good at what they do, though. I mean, I still love all of Chaplin's performances that we've seen in that one movie.
One of them, I guess,
In one of
two
them,
performances in one movie.
two performances in one movie. I am to the list like Buster and Chaplin. I think both people I'm looking forward to seeing again. Just like the
I
joy of
know
watching
we've
it.
definitely got more Chaplin. I don't know if we've got much more Buster, but I have to imagine there is some, just because I think this is like his most well-regarded film, but the amount of insane things that he does and the general like uh flip-floppy quality of lower films or of older films. I think we're definitely gonna run into some Buster Keaton again.
Yeah, it is that weird one because I feel like sometimes with these older movies, right, watching them feels like homework. One of the ones we watched for this definitely felt like homework. But say with Keaton or the great director, and with It Happened One Night, I'm like, these are just a joy to watch.
Yeah. Yeah, like quality, persists. Even though they're not contemporary, like you can still identify what is great about them, and that like retains itself no matter how far away you are.
Yeah, exactly. Which again, to go back to an old little refrain, but if anybody was not going to watch these because they're in black and white or because they're not they're silent movies,
Yeah.
idiot moron, like get out of the medium, go do something else.
Please do not watch the AI colored versions of these films.
Oh no!
I imagine they are heinously poorly edited.
Like they're so well shot in black and white. Just watch them that way. You see everything anyway.
Yeah, and like it's color isn't necessary for these things. They're made with intention. They're made with the black and white in mind. They look absolutely fine. Your brain's allowed to perceive grayscale for a little bit.
I did see as well, unrelated to this movie, but another Keaton thing I just wanted to bring up because I've only just seen it and it's blown my mind. You know the other Facade drop? It's in Steamboat Bill Jr. Do you know the Facade weighed 2 tons?
See, that's how I felt through this entire movie, right? You look at a thing and you go, just because you imagine, like, if it goes wrong. The bit where he falls through the ceiling into the bathtub, like, again, it's black and white, maybe they're disguised something, you don't see what's in the bathtub. It could just be, like, real porcelain. That, like, crunches you if you fall wrong, because he falls into a realistically sized bathtub which doesn't fit a person right. Like, how do you do that without dying?
I mean, if he dropped a couple inches to the left or right, he's landed on that, like, fence post gag style. Like, that's bisecting him. He ain't having kids after that one, It's kind of...
God. What a madman. What an absolute freak. God bless you, Buster Keaton.
I'm glad he was born when he was born, because, they wouldn't let him do it now, and he needed cameras.
Imagine how, like, miserable a person with that brain would be nowadays, where it's like, I want to do this crazy thing. They're like, you might kill yourself. We legally cannot let you do that. He's like, no! No!
I tell you what, Buster Keaton would be one fucking hell of a YouTuber.
I was actually, like... Not to get too onto modern YouTube politics, but the way he looks at the camera sometimes, I'm like, this guy's mogging, dude. This is like a clavicular for the contemporary age, but he's not unbearable, Like, he's a handsome guy. I'm shocked he doesn't get his face fucked up.
Genuinely, my first reaction to this one was like, dude, Buster Keaton kind of a baddie, dude. Like, he's...
Right. And like even the haircut isn't like, it's old styly, but it's the kind of old styly that is currently in fashion, where he's got the short sides and stuff. Like he would get it in 2026.
Just what a fucking cool dude. I hope he didn't do anything like horrible in his personal life.
I mean, if he did, it's 1920s. They all did, right? Cool dude. Parentheses 1920s. We understand, right? They're all sketchy blokes.
Sketchy blokes, but man, was he fucking cool. I'll tell you what, I'm glad he
Yeah.
didn't smoke, or I might have to start. If he
Oh
was pulling
mate,
cigarettes out in
there's
this movie,
so much cool smoking we've seen in these old films, and no doubt we'll see more of it. Right?
and
It is a dangerous place.
fucking, it happened one night. That cigarette stock's through the roof,
Oh,
dude.
buddy. The Godfather had a lot of cool smoking. Ace in the Hole had a lot of cool smoking.
I think The
Like I'm
Godfather
gonna
and Innocent
start.
Hall, it's countered by the characters doing it, like, being cool, parentheses, don't be like them. The issue with it happened
Yes,
one
yeah.
night is, like, cool, parentheses, be this guy.
Be like Clark Gable.
Yeah, yeah. A guy's so cool, he killed the undershirt industry, you know? Like, it's... You can't be that cool anymore. It's not possible.
It's not, no. You try and like rock the Clark Gable look, you just get accused of like being toxic. They're probably
Yeah.
right, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Ugh.
Well, what's
Alright,
the
well,
next one?
1929, we've got Man with a Movie Camera and we've got the Broadway Melody. We have a not film and a very film. What do you feel like talking about first? Because you had something that you wanted to go
Let's
on
go
to.
with Broadway first, because it
Okay.
pissed me off.
So I have a description here for Broadway Melody that I thought of about halfway through that I want to read off verbatim because it's a
Yeah,
very specific feeling and I want to see if you had the same idea.
I would let you do so.
Feels like a movie that Peter Griffin would reference, and the cutaway gag would be an elaborate 5-minute recreation of Seth MacFarlane's favourite scene from the movie with no jokes.
Yeah, no, that's I get that. That's pretty
Yeah.
accurate. Movie made
It
to be
is.
filler in a Family Guy episode.
Yeah. It is all singing, all dancing. I think that's actually in the tagline.
Yeah,
Sisters want to go to Broadway. They don't quite make it. There's some relationship drama. They want to go to Broadway again. The end.
my biggest takeaway from this movie is Broadway in the 1920s actually that boring?
Ah, that's a really good question. Because it did
Because
seem like it was very dull.
no one could dance, no one could sing. The actors were all bastards, which I imagine that part was accurate because I've known some actors, and it's like any job. Turns out behind the scenes, everyone fucking hates each other. But
Yeah.
it just, I don't know. So the movie itself, really boring, really just tedious plot line. You're going to this movie, I guess, because you want to see the music and the dancing. But the music and the dancing didn't really sell it on me.
Contemporaneously. The reason people are watching this nowadays is because I tried to look up exactly what it won, because when you look up Best Picture of 1929, it goes to Wings, but this was it won the Outstanding Picture Award for, I think, Academy Award, somewhere.
Okay.
Was the first talkie to do so, the first sound film to do so, which, you know, as a landmark thing, right? It's the first sound film. It was the first like proper musical to win any large awards. There was
Mm.
a Technicolor sequence in the middle, which has not been preserved, so no one knows quite what it looked like. It is a bit of a like landmark, you know, like treading new ground kind of film,
Yeah.
um, but it just unfortunately doesn't quite keep up with modern standards. Like we're saying with like It Happened One Night, especially, you know, quality maintains throughout time. So does lack of quality. And once you get outside of the, oh my god, I can see people singing and dancing on the screen, and oh my god, there's dialogue, and oh my god, there's a bit of Technicolor, it's just not very good.
I think that was it, really. Yeah, like, it probably was a bit of a spectacle at the time, but after that, I mean, that's it. It cool
Yeah.
at the time, but you know, I've seen people do better. I've seen
But
people
like
do better around the same time as well.
that's I think what's most frustrating is like even when you look at it as a it's kind of a rom-com adjacent thing. You have your few main characters. You have Queenie and Hank, who are sisters. I had to make sure I was getting her name right because it is actually Hank, which
Yeah, her
I guess
name
that
is
was the lady's name.
her name was Harriet, but it's shortened to Hank.
Right, okay.
Yeah,
They're sisters who are going on to Broadway, and you have, was it Eddie is the
yeah. Eddie is the
male lead?
singer,
Yeah.
the initial love interest for Hank, and then love interest for Queenie.
Yeah, he's engaged to Hank, and over the course of the movie, he falls for Queenie. I say over the course of the movie, it's more like over the course of one scene, and then it's just a lot of back and forth. Um, I was kind of stun locked at first because the sisters come into their new hotel room just outside Broadway, and they're getting settled in, and then they kiss each other on the lips. I'm like, oh, is this a lesbian movie
I
from the
also thought
1929s?
this. I was like, oh shit, gay movie. This could be incredible. No.
No. Just a lot of siblings kissing each other on the mouth in this movie.
The second that happened, the smiling friends. You kiss your
You kiss
sister
your
on
dad
the
on the
lips.
mouth.
Yeah. Like, it was just all I've written down. And I'm like, fuck me, dude. I'm like a millennial. Like, you kiss your
Yeah,
sister
but
on the
like
lips?
even when we meet Eddie for the first time, he goes to his current fiance or dame, whoever he's dating, Hank, and they do the kiss, they do the hug. He goes to Queenie and he's like, "Ah, you turned out beautiful. Last time I saw you, you were in shorts and whatever." And then he kisses her on the mouth. I'm like, this is really uncomfortable.
It's very European for an American movie.
Yeah, I guess so.
It is also fun. I know, like, it's like the 20s, and I guess men are like this a lot anyway. But I couldn't imagine seeing someone who I've seen as a child, who I must have been an adult when they were a child, and went like, fuck me, you've turned out hot.
Yeah,
That's
very.
fucking strange, right?
It's a very 20s movie, right? It doesn't escape
Yeah.
the 20s isms, I think we'll call it.
It's my issue. A friend of mine, his younger sister, she recently turned 30, but I moved away when everyone was like 20. And when he said she turned 30, I was like, oh shit, no, she's a child. And this was like what I was thinking about with this, where it's like, if you see someone when they're a child, in my brain locks them in as a child. It freaks me out that there's a very normal scene for him to be like, damn, that child's hot now. Like, just fucking strange.
Yeah. Yeah,
But,
it never really like goes away, right? This ongoing thing of Eddie kind of possessively chasing Queenie and referring to the like many hours that he spent thinking about her despite having known her from her youth. It's just generally uncomfortable.
it's also just not presented with any level of, like, nuance. Like, the movie doesn't know that that's weird.
No, and I don't think culturally, like
Yeah.
the American man from the 20s who had an amount of power and influence also knew or cared that that was weird, despite it definitely actually being weird.
Because, I mean, obviously, they elope at the end. Like, it's just everyone's happy, even though... I think it's that classic meme, right, where you could recut this as, like, a possessive stalker horror
Yes,
without
yeah.
very much work.
No, definitely not. Mainly changing the backing music would be,
Yeah, like,
the most.
because the amount of times he's in a room with her, screaming at her to, like, stop doing anything that he doesn't want her to do. And it's like, oh, look how much he loves her. It's like, dude, what the fuck are you talking about?
Well, he writes that song for her, right? Which ultimately the phrase of the song is "You belong to me." There's a bit of "I belong to you." There's a lot more insistence of like "You belong to me," and this is before he's even broken up with Hank. It's man would not survive the modern landscape. Is all I'll say about that.
There is one line, actually, I was reminded. It's not from Eddie, it's from Hank to Queenie. It's in the first scene in the apartment where they're talking about what they're going to do. And Hank is a terrible sister, right? She's leading Queenie through life and trying to force Queenie to do what she wants. And Hank then, as soon as Queenie starts taking off without Hank is like, how dare she?
Yeah, very spiteful and very like aggressive.
Yeah, so it's the 20s. These early movies I like because every now and then someone says something and I'm like, that's a fucking banger of like an insult or a line.
Is it the
right?
role of linoleum?
No.
Okay,
So
I've got
obviously
one
in Ace in the Hole, the I've met some hard-boiled eggs in my times with
Yeah,
your
yeah.
20 minutes, pretty high up. This one nowhere near that, but it did make me laugh. Where Queenie's saying some stuff that's perfectly normal, and Hank just looks at her and goes like, gosh, they were smart when they made you pretty.
Oh yeah,
And
yeah.
it's like
That's pretty good. There's another one when they're auditioning for the play with the guy who's running everything, and you got these other girls off on the side who are like berating them because they're doing poorly, and the guy playing piano can't manage it. And Hank threatening to get in a fight with one of the other ladies, says, "I'm going to lay that dame like a roll of linoleum," which
Yeah,
again, like,
banger line.
if you look at this as a comedy and you cut out a lot of the romance stuff, it's pretty okay. It's just
Yeah,
there's so much romance and music, and the music is like 3 or 4 songs that are kind of repeated, and the romance is, you know, you got to give it the space of the time. Like, I'm not going to call it toxic, it's the 1920s, but it is quite boring. That's the biggest issue.
I think that's my main takeaway from this movie. Is like it's just fucking insipid a lot of the time, right? It's not that it's not worth watching for any like heinous reason. It's just the only reason you would watch this is because you've never seen a movie with song and dance in it before, and
Yeah.
you can get that elsewhere. You don't need to get
Or
it
you're
here.
going back through the histories of like Best Picture winners, or you're doing something like this, right? It feels like a gimmick movie that you'd recommend to watch because you have obligation to watch it, rather than something you'd go out of your way actively to watch.
Yeah, it's strange though
I
because
do,
it's so like inoffensive and just boring. Like it doesn't top the list for me of like worst movies at least.
oh, definitely not. No, no. Like
Yeah,
this is like acceptable guff for when it was made. It is not doing anything atrociously bad, but it's not really worth watching. I did want to ask because I might have missed this again. I kind of phase out during some of these especially boring or bad movies. Queenie's boyfriend, the one that she meets backstage
oh,
after her first
the
play.
the guy who's like either a like a show planner or like a director or
Yeah,
something.
yeah.
Or yeah.
What did he do? Because everyone hates him, and I don't know why.
Well,
He just
Eddie
seems
hates
like a bit of
him.
a flirt.
So the idea there, I guess, is that Hank and Eddie realize that Queenie is like gonna be rocketed into stardom and have a terrible starlet life, right? And maybe also rocketed into stardom without Eddie and Hank.
Yeah.
So they're really scared of losing her to him. He's just like a, I don't know, like he acts like a fucking simulacra for like the film industry. Like his job is to be a threat to Eddie and Hank because he's going to take Queenie away. And they are nothing without Queenie, I guess, is the idea.
But like in the context of the film, he doesn't actually do anything like egregious, right? He's pretty respectful of her boundaries. He gets her a couple gifts. He takes his time with her. You know, he's as respectful as you can be in the 1920s. Right? He's a bit forceful in terms of let's go on a date.
He does get a little bit grabby when Eddie is going to come and try and take her back, right? And then he's like, no, you're staying with me,
Yeah,
you're staying with me. It's like they make him creepy evil guy there. Other than that, he's
but
just been
you've had 100
creepy
minutes of
weirdo.
him being, yeah, he's a little bit
Yeah.
weird, but again, like Eddie is being far weirder for most of this movie. So, you know, I wasn't emotionally attached enough to be like, oh, I hate these guys for hating whoever his name was, but I'm like, what's the actual drama here? Because I get the implication of like, he's a bad guy and Queenie's gonna be worse off with him, but there's no demonstrating of that. It's
Yeah,
just kind of assumed.
they say he's like a sleazeball and he won't give her what she wants and he won't marry her, which I mean is probably true, but they don't. The movie doesn't say that. Just two of the characters do, and it's two characters you've already kind of like been told not to necessarily trust with Queenie's emotions or best interest. At least I think you've been told that. I
Feel
picked
like it's
that up.
actually the opposite. I think like
Yeah,
from the 1920s, the aspirant woman making a career of her own is the thing that you should be concerned about, and she really should
right.
rein herself in.
It does feel that way, right? It's like Hank and Eddie feel like they are trying to hamstring her career and prevent her from being herself. But I guess the
And
movie is
that's
trying to
good.
say, yeah, because they're looking after her. I guess is the idea. The
Yeah,
20s are a weird time.
yeah,
It,
very strange. Um, we've also missed out on Uncle Jed, who, when I said is a bit Porky Pig, this guy feels like the template of a Porky Pig, right? Is slightly portly actual uncle who does a lot of stuttering, that kind of like, and stops and then says something else. I don't know
yeah,
if he's a direct inspiration, but very Looney Tunes. So we're learning a lot about early Warner Brothers animation.
I do wonder if Porky Pig is directly because that is a very particular mannerism. But I don't know if like that was a stock character kind of thing.
I think so. The movie did pretty well when it first came out. Like, made a lot of money, made a lot of pseudo sequels, like the Broadway melody of 1934 or 1968 or 1936 kind of thing. Um, so culturally, it would have been a you know pretty big hit. I feel like this would have inspired a series of Uncle Jed type characters where you need some comedy relief. You don't really have jokes. What if we gave the guy a stutter? That's funny.
Yeah, I guess it wasn't. I don't. I guess like he's such a weird character as well because I couldn't tell what the film wanted me to think about him, and he just seems like a nice guy who's trying to help the entire time. Uh, Very odd. But yeah, very
Yeah,
Porky Pig, like you're saying.
you fully remove the guy, and the film would not be different in like any regard. A lot of perfunctory characters. Was it the Queenie's boyfriend has a couple of hanger-ons who. What is even their joy? It's been a while since I watched the movie now, but I remember like one of them just kind of walking into walls, basically. Like he didn't really have a joke, but I think I was supposed to find him funny.
There was a lot of that. I thought this movie had a lot more characters, or a lot more actors than it did characters. And not
Yes,
in like
that's a great way to put it.
like there's just here's this guy, like the guy who played the lead, like the Jason and the Argonauts play part.
Yes, yeah.
The guy playing the lead there was just, I guess, dickhead actor number 3, and that was his entire
Showed
role.
up quite a lot, but like wasn't really given a name or things to say. And then each of the women that they auditioned with, like, are consistently showing up. It's very showgirls where they're supposed to be like the rivals for Queenie and Hank as they go on, but none of them have any personality apart from the one who Hank is going to lay out like a roll of linoleum, and she's just kind of bitchy. But they're all just kind of
Yeah,
bitchy.
it's absurd for a movie with this, like a movie that is an hour and 45 minutes long, and did fucking nothing with that time. It felt like it didn't have enough time to characterize any of the characters.
Yeah,
They just show up,
yeah.
say a line, you get like a quick idea of like who this person's supposed to be, and then they toss it aside for like the next set of characters. It's just, I don't know. So, not a huge fan of it. Kind of threw me off for that. Like, not one I would recommend. I'm assuming not one you would recommend.
No. I think if you're interested in, Best Picture history and early musicals and all that kind of stuff, this is not an egregious watch. It's not like a suffering film to see. Um, if it's on when you're like folding the laundry or grinding out an MMO or like doing your dailies and a gacha, like it's not the worst thing you could have on, but I would not actively spend time,
Yeah,
engaging
I
with it.
wouldn't put it on unless you really like insipid fucking 1929 Broadway music. And let me tell you, I don't.
No,
It really. And also the dancing. I don't know what it is about. Are they called like flappers at the time? That like
it's
1929
vaudeville, that kind of
vaudeville.
yeah.
The like hands tight to body, shaky, open palm, little wiggle. Like it's not a dance. Like that's like you're moving slightly. I don't know. Everything about it just odd. It was
It's a very white stage performance before a lot of like black jazz stuff had been like thoroughly stolen and iterated upon.
yeah, Broadway
So
just
there's not a
it,
lot of like, movement or motion or like imagine if you go to more like ballet, there is some elegance in the movement here, but it is presentable, consumer first stuff. So there's no like high art that you can attach to it, and there's no like real like performance quality either, right?
yeah, it really does feel like one of the most corporate like cast of characters I've seen in a movie where everyone is ostensibly in the art world. Like even the like quote unquote artists here don't feel like they're in it for like the love of the game. They feel like everyone's here to make money. Like another thing with this, so we mentioned it with the other movies. Like I mean, Buster Keaton came up, Clark Gable came up. This is gonna be like the only movie that I think has won an award from this time period that I've seen, where I've watched it and not at any point thought any of these characters seemed cool.
Also, any of the actors, like I didn't recognize anyone, and I don't know a huge amount of 1920s like film stars, but I knew Clark Gable beforehand. Like,
Yeah.
I know some people from this time period. Like, surely somebody would have been recognizable.
Just a movie and cast utterly lacking charisma. 'Cause I did see one review where they'd mentioned, I think it was all the characters for the most part, but I think they did lean in on Hank. Or its actors were not speaking their lines; they were reciting them, and it really did
Yeah.
give me that vibe. Like nobody felt like they were in the character. Everyone was just reading their lines out and then getting to the next scene, and then doing a little dance, then getting to the next scene. It just it felt like a really badly performed stage play, which is one thing I want to mention. Do we want to talk about Man with a Movie Camera first before this? Because there's two things with these movies that I think is really interesting to me from what the director of Man with a Movie Camera had mentioned. And it really stands out with Broadway Melody.
Is this the opiate for the masses?
No, it's something a little bit. It's so okay. I'll talk about it first because it came up recently in a video game thing I saw some people talking about, and it's interesting because it applies to a lot of mediums, I guess. So you know, like the argument about like, are video games art, right?
Yes.
People always bring up like The Last of Us or like Journey or other games that are like strongly narrative. With like games with a strong narrative, or games with like beautiful art direction, or games with like great sound direction, or all three. But they never talk about like games as art through sort of like gameplay mechanics or like like technical specifications, right? So it's interesting because people only ever seem to review games as art if they are art like these other mediums, like film or TV or like literature, right? Really annoying. Games are art. Very gamey games can be art, right? Like Tetris is art, not just because it looks nice, but like the actual underlying mechanics are like beautifully designed.
Yeah.
So
And there's also the qualifying thing there of like, for me at least, art is just was human creativity involved in the creation? If yes, it's art. It can be bad art, it can be uninteresting art, but like art as a qualifier, it's a lot looser than I
it's
think
value
a
neutral,
lot of
right?
people say. Yeah.
Yeah. But like, so this was on my mind because I was reading about it, and it was really compelling. So I was thinking, like, yeah, it is strange that we only ever evaluate is a game art if it hits the criteria that like other mediums hit, instead of looking at like arts, like the game strength itself, which is the things unique to that medium.
Yeah.
And I was reading a little interview with the director of Man with a Movie Camera, and he'd mentioned it was annoying him that movies were only considered art for the same merits that like stage plays were or novels were, instead of the things unique to what you could do with a camera or
That
like
makes
with
a lot of
direction.
sense, having seen
Yeah.
Man of a Movie Camera.
So I was thinking this because I watched Man with a Movie Camera first, and then I'm watching this movie that is at all times desperate to just show you the stage play parts from like far camera as if you're in the audience. And it's like, oh shit, yeah, like this is a movie that doesn't really care about being a movie. It wants to show you all the stage play, and all the other guff is just there for whatever's reason. And it was really like, I don't know, it's quite compelling to go, oh yeah, they aren't doing anything here that relies on the fact that it's a movie or is unique to like the medium of film. And the people are praising it, but they're praising it for the music and the dancing, which is just they're praising the stage play elements.
Yeah, the agnostic elements of it. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
it's an interesting like parallel between these two things because one, this is very much conventional filmmaking, especially for the time, and Man of a Movie Camera, which I guess we'll more like broadly talk about now, is experimental Soviet era film that is essentially like an hour-long Kuleshov effect
Yeah.
brought out to as extreme as you can make that idea. Kuleshov effect being a pretty famous film experiment, but you've probably seen it. I know you have, but like the
Yeah.
audience, where it's like you get a picture of a bowl of soup, then a person, then a wall, then a whatever, right? Just it's the idea of like this is all artifice. Film isn't real, but the emotional response that you can get from it is what makes film, an interesting medium to look at.
Yeah,
And
I mean,
how can you
it's
manufacture that emotional response by showing a series of different images one after the other?
yeah. The Kuleshov it's used in like every movie. Like if you
Yeah,
see a thing happen in one scene and you cut to a new scene, the Kuleshov effect is that your brain will say, "Oh, the previous scene will inform the next scene." So
there
a
is
good
no
example.
inherent quality that makes these things related, but our understanding of art and of film means that they are related as we watch them.
Yeah. So like a good example is like let's say you've got I don't know, like two people arguing in one scene, and then you cut to a new scene of one of those people sat out in the rain or something, right? There's nothing in the film that actually says directly, oh, this person has left that previous scene, walked down the stairs, stepped outside, and has sat in the rain. But you know, because of the way your brain pieces together these like two separate images, oh yeah, that the culmination of that argument is now the guy sat in the rain. Really simple
Yeah,
stuff. Can be used to great effect. Also can be used a little bit better with metaphor, which Man with the Movie Camera does very well at some points, especially around that marriage in a set of interstitials. Really fun. But yeah, I mean, broadly, well, what do you think of Man with the Movie Camera?
so like I watched it pretty much as soon as we decided our films, and we've had some interruptions in filming, in
Yeah.
recording. I've gone back and just like flicked through it. I haven't watched it all over again, but like it's definitely very cool, very interesting, and like the visuals are, you know, hugely like deep, just in terms of like filmmaking quality, right? Loads of
Mm-hmm.
interesting camera shots and like ideas and different portrayals of the way you can film things. As an individual like piece, it didn't really do a whole lot for me, just because it's either silent or soundtracked. There's a lot of different like soundtracks people have made for it. Um, but it's an hour of just like images after images after images, which I guess that is what film is a lot of the time, which is kind of the point.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, I think it's more interesting than it was like engaging for me.
Yeah. So I actually I really liked it. I think like there is that like light narrative moving through it where you're following like the cameraman very occasionally. Moving to new shots or showing what like the camera like there is a bit of character to the camera itself, but not
Yeah,
you're not looking for a full narrative from this movie. It's very real scenes. Although I do know a few of the things were staged for
there's
it,
some
and
staged, yeah, and
and there's a bit of stop motion and things like that.
yeah,
The stop motion with the camera towards the end, very good. That was very fun. The camera builds itself and walks off.
yeah, yeah, all looks
Follow a
good.
guy. But one thing one of my main notes about this movie is very funny. So last week, or last episode, depending on how quickly this one comes out, we spoke about our debt. And I had one big
Mm.
criticism of our debt, right? And it
That it
was
didn't
if
use any of the benefits of film.
no, a bigger one, right?
Oh,
The director felt like he had found out a bunch of cool camera tricks and wanted to show me them. So lots of like wide panning shots, lots of cool like camera placement. I think this movie would have blown his tiny little mind.
well,
Because
he would
this
have
is a
hated it
movie.
because he had a big part about how like quick cuts were not utilizing the film as best, and you needed like long shots to let actors perform is the best way to do a
Mm,
film. And this film is so anti that, because it says at the start like this is made without actors and without sets, and whether or not that's fully true, debated. But it's a lot of quick cuts, and it's a lot of like sped up, slow motion, weird angles. You could accuse it of like a gimmickry, but when that is the point, when style is like the intention, it's not a gimmick, right? Like it is the thing.
yeah. But yeah, it's just because I mean, this movie was doing. I mean, everything you can do with a camera, right? Like if it
Crazy,
was
yeah.
possible to film it or edit it, it was doing it. Because they even show, I really loved the part. There's a little sequence, I think towards the middle, where you're seeing the editing of the movie. Like they pull back like the artifice and show you. It was the director's wife who was the editor. She was like she's literally cutting and splicing, and then like showing you, oh, here's this cell, or this frame, and then you would like the frame would then come to life, and you would watch the rest of that shot. So it was a movie that was very happily trying to tell you like this is a movie. This is what this
Yeah.
is.
Well, it even starts with the framing device of people going to the theatre and sitting down to watch the movie that you're about to watch, right? There is a, like you said, a slight narrative there. It's very intentional with showing you that.
Yeah. Other than that, beyond that though, beyond that little narrative and that the cool like pull the camera back and show what's on the camera through another camera. It's a hard one to talk about because yeah, it's. I mean, we mentioned it with Buster Keaton's the one week. you don't just want to give a blow by blow of each of the cool stunts. And this
Yeah,
is
it is
without,
more deserving than
yeah,
us just describing each individual bit. I guess what I will say is I think it was the one and only the great George Lucas who I'm taking this from at least.
yeah,
Um, a tone poem, right? Like tonally showing you images,
yeah,
and it's this cooler shot effect thing again, where like you'll see machinery clanking, and then you'll see people moving in these like repeated images, and you start to intuit this idea because it was the guy said before, like fiction is becoming the opiate of the masses, and this is film is an attempt to get that across in a very like Marxist kind of way,
yeah,
where it is critical of the commodification of human bodies and the like the turning of humanity into machine entities. I guess is a big part of it. Um, what sticks out in my head, weirdly enough, because it's not like a interesting visual depiction, but there's women like packing cigarettes and they like slam them, they move them, they grab more cigarettes and they slam them, they move them, and just a few shots before, I think it is, there's pistons just whirring back and forth like really up
yeah,
close.
yeah.
It's very like explicit imagery of humanity is becoming like autonomous.
Yeah, it's again that kind of thing. I mean, like I said, I mean, he wanted to show like the real as well, right? It was very lean
Yeah,
in. This is what's happening, and show the real through that kind of metaphor, that like shot to shot effect. So it's, I guess, as a poem, that makes the most sense to me, right? It's, each shot is rhyming. It's all very very carefully placed.
yeah. It's all
Um,
metaphor and allegory without the explicit wording that lets you like understand that, and you need to go in with that awareness that you're watching something that is like getting across a point but isn't getting across I don't know, explicit theology or like sociological discussion.
it's a good one to like think about with the idea. There's a lot of people who struggle with the idea that like things can be about things. There can be politics to a work and whatnot. And I think explaining this as a Marxist piece to an idiot, where they say, "But there aren't any characters. No one's talking. No one does anything." It's like, yeah, but the way the imagery is used is very, it's telling you a story by showing you shot to shot, and just the overall like order of everything. So it's a fun one to watch. It's definitely one I would say to anybody who wants to get into film, right? Like, it's, if you want to be a director,
Yeah.
it's something you should definitely see, because it's beyond even like the message and whatnot. It feels like something is really just having a lot of fun with the idea of like what can you
Yes.
film and how
A
can you
lot
film it.
of crazy experimental looking shots, stuff that you're not even seeing like in, common movies nowadays. Weird angles, filling with time and spacing, positioning, right? There's a lot of like big overhead shots of cities and just people like bustling, filled with like walking people. Um, yeah, just incredibly creative from like the perspective of I have a camera and that's it.
Yeah, that the where was it? The kind of like those shots of the big cities and things. So
Mm.
I didn't realize that was actually a big genre at the time. The city symphony is what it's
Oh,
called,
okay.
right? So
Huh.
you have this idea of like playing some music or kind of implying something very like a symphony, very like avant-garde, but
Mm.
showing the day-to-day life of a city. Um, Very common. Like quite a lot of movies where you have like just cameras throughout, say, San Francisco or like Paris or Berlin. And this one, I feel like, did it very differently by showing you that it's artifice. A lot of them try to show it
Yes.
as in
Yeah.
like, look at this city, oh, it's so grand, it's so cool, look at what we've done. And I feel like Man with a Movie Camera is willing to tell you, like, hey, anytime something is on film, the director put it there.
Yeah.
Even if it's real, like, what they haven't shown you and what they have shown you, very important.
There's intention over it, yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Like you've got no doubt a film like this. It's about an hour long. I imagine there's probably 7 or 8 hours of footage that they were picking through, right?
Yeah, yeah. But also just a lot of the camera work in this. I mean, there's a bit of, when I was looking through it, very Keaton-esque maneuvers to get shots. There's a part where they've set up this complete like ramshackle camera rig on front of a train, and he is like hand cranking the camera as the train is going. Like this is a guy who is willing to do some stuff to get the shots, and I mean I like that. It's such a fun one to watch, just to think about and think like, oh, how did they do this? How did they do that? Um, then a lot of the kind of like the double exposure stuff, a lot of the like. There's a part later on where they have it spliced into kind of four separate frames with like then the woman singing over them, like double exposure over four different shots, and you're like, how did they do all of this?
The level of intuitiveness to accomplish a lot of the things that they've done at this period in time is like quite fucking mental when you think about it, right? Because you get to bigger budget film and more successful film and film that is more remembered, and you get stuff like the Broadway Melody, which is we put down a camera and we are pressing play. There's more work to it than that, obviously, but broadly, that's kind of what they just did, right? It's just filmed the thing. So yeah, the amount of inventiveness and like you said, fun that it has with it is it's impressive.
Yeah, it really is just like it's very fun, but it's also very like self-serious in a way that I kind of like, right? It is what I mentioned, right? He'd wanted to make a movie that wasn't so indebted to sort of like all the other mediums. Like he wanted to make something that was film and couldn't be anything else. And you can see him like grasping at that constantly. Where it's like you couldn't write this, you couldn't show this on a stage play, you couldn't like do this through a speech or anything. Like this had to be a film. And it's really cool to see someone who is saying, like, no, I want to make films, and if I want to make films, I shouldn't want to make everything else. And a bit extremist for me, not every film needs to be purely within its own medium and, like, couldn't be in anything else. But it's cool to see someone kind of madly strive for this is only possible in the medium I'm working in.
Yeah, I love when a pitch is fully realized by the actual finished thing. Um, I'm going to struggle to think of any immediate ideas or like references because my brain is blank right now. But you'll see in movies or like TV shows with concepts, and you get the opening episode. They're really indulging in the concept, and then the future stuff doesn't really engage with the concept in a way that is kind of disappointing, right?
Yeah.
I think like House of the Dragon, the new Game of Thrones prequel thing, like I don't know, the pitch is this like incest war between dragon owning families, and some of the episodes are just about kind of pointless bullshit and doesn't really feel like it's using the medium or like the pitch very well. This is the pitch of I want to make something that can only be presented as, motion film. It's not individual pictures, it's not, like you said, it's not stage or written. Like you couldn't even look through an album of film frames here and get the same effect. It has to be depicted as moving film. And it is from minute one. They are in there and doing it until the end.
Yeah, it's very Tears one. I mean, most people should be aware of it by now. I think anyone listening to this, but House of Leaves, the book.
Yes, yeah.
Well, like that wouldn't work if it wasn't a book, right? Like it's a funny one because a friend of mine was asking about it, and I was like, "Yo, you'll need to get the physical copy because this isn't going to work even like as an ebook.
Doesn't work
like
with ebooks. Doesn't work as anything else. Yeah.
This has to be a physical object that you can hold and move back and forth through. Like it needs to be a book. You couldn't have this work in any other way. Like there are adaptations of it in other mediums. There's a Doom mod someone made, but it's not the same,
right?
Yeah, and this movie has that same vibe where it's like, what is so fun about this is that it has to be film, and I love that. I love something where it's like, oh, you couldn't adapt this to another medium because it is so deeply entrenched in what it is that you can't pick it apart without killing it. Really cool.
Well, talking about like games as and gameplay mechanics as art, and like as compared to this, where it has to be a film. I think a good example for those who have played it is Return of the Obra Dinn as a game. Where have you played that one?
I've not.
So the pitch is that a ship has come back from a voyage and it is missing all the inhabitants, and you need to go and investigate. You're an insurance person who like needs to investigate what happened here to figure out like, oh, are they going to get their payment? The whole gimmick is that when you're near a corpse or remains of someone, you have a stopwatch that lets you go back in time and watch the exact moment that someone died and like the scene around that. and then you
Mm.
need to complete the ship's log by saying like this person was killed by this means by this person or like thing, right? Like did a cannon hit them? Did the mast fall on them? That kind of thing.
Yeah.
But it is very non-linear and like very experimental, and it's the kind of thing where there isn't really a story. You are following the story in the snapshots of time because you get a little like soundbite first, but it's not a story that could be presented authentically through film because the moment you make the narrative linear, it's pretty straightforward, right?
Yeah.
The interest comes from the way you're getting these fragmented pieces and you realize like, oh, this happened just before this happened, and now I see this happening, and oh, that's going to link to over here, and even stuff like the gameplay design has you got like Chinese passengers on the ship whose their bunks have Chinese writing in a tiny little segment. Where like, you need to, as a player, look at it and find out like, oh, okay, this is where the Chinese people are staying, so I can veer towards this area of like bodies if I need to like find out who these guys are.
Mm.
Very interesting,
Yeah,
very creative.
I think this is what I really appreciate about this film, right? It makes me think about all these other pieces of media that are deeply tied to their like
Yeah,
technical requirements. And I mean, I mentioned it, I've said it a couple times already, but it's something I really love. I love when someone looks at a medium and goes, "What can I do here that I can't do anywhere else?"
yeah.
That alone is why I'd recommend watching this. Um, it's a weird one because I did watch it twice. Once with a soundtrack. I can't remember who it was that scored the one I listened to. It was kind of like a jazz thing throughout the whole
Was
thing.
it so yeah, there's a few different ones made by a lot of different people. The one I watched it just once with the soundtrack. I watched the Cinematic Orchestra from 2000, the Porto Film Festival version. Um, it's a bit Portishead. It's a bit like ambient Daft
I
Punk
think that is
y.
the one that I would have
Might
been
be the
listening
same.
to. Yeah,
Yeah.
because I thought that was very cool, but it really
Yeah.
changed the feeling of it from a movie to more of like a music video.
Yes,
You
definitely.
can
Yeah.
make it. You can really, really powerfully soundtrack this kind of thing. Like if this was, if you were at a place like a club or like a gallery or something, and it was playing with the music in the background, it would
Like the
be
size of a wall, just
yeah,
like yeah, yeah.
easily able to be like one of the coolest things I've ever seen. Without the music, it's a very different experience of like, oh, this is like the film itself. So I would recommend if you're only going to do it once and you're not so into the idea of like seeing what they're doing with all the camera work and all the editing work, whack it on with the soundtrack and it very fun, very cool.
Trance-like almost, right? It gets you into like that
Yeah.
that repetitive machine motion. These occasional breaks where there's not the uh constructed feel when you've got people who are just kind of acting like people, and that sort of breaks you out in these little moments. But there is a lot of that just like machine back and forth kind of uh, visualization going on.
It was very so there's a rapper I like a lot, Aesop Rock, and he's had a couple of his albums. They've done a full music video for each album.
Mm.
Like you play it in full with a music video. One is like a set of like go kart races and stuff. Another one is a full remake of The Shining with puppets.
Nice.
Um,
That's pretty good.
yeah, it's really cool. Like I was watching this, going like, man, he could make one hell of an album
Yeah,
to be
yeah.
played alongside this, and I think it would be, imagined in my head as my favorite album, like
Yeah.
because it's got so much that you can talk about and sing about. Like if you had like a really good piece of like thoughtful rap or like any other kind of like long form, kind of socially aware music. Like I'm begging someone to make a accompanying album to watch with this film, to listen
That'd be
to
neat,
while
yeah.
you watch this. Yeah, like just something about it really draws me to that kind of like. It's a work that feels like it's begged to be like remixed and recut, which is kind of funny because I don't think the director would have liked that at all. But to me, I look at it and go like this is begging for like interpretive works.
Yeah. Well, it'd be interesting as well to like get, this is a film that only works as a film. Music very typically only works as music, right? You can't just like write down lyrics and it feels as appropriate. So you mix those two things together and you make like a new, it's old stuff, right? But like you make a new product from or new piece of art, I should say, from the two of them together.
New
It's
content.
like it's an interesting thing. New content, yeah. New hashtag content.
Yeah, new hashtag content.
Uh,
Put it in the slot machine.
oh yeah, yeah.
But
Just
yeah,
put this through an AI filter and ask it to be less socially aware.
yeah. I wonder what ChatGPT would tell me the plot of this movie is. I'm
Oh
not gonna
god,
find
man.
out. But yeah,
If I
it's.
just Google man with a movie camera plot, does the Google AI say anything? Let's
Oh
see.
god, I hope not. I don't even want to be tainted by the idea of like
Man with
knowing what
a
it would say.
movie camera plot. No AI suggestion?
Thank
Have I
God, it's
just
proof.
absolutely filtered my my internet experience?
It's such a nothing thing to find out. Like, it's such an intentional piece of art filtered through the unintention machine. I'm
Yeah.
glad that we'll never know.
Yeah. uh,
But yeah, it is cool. It like you said, it's difficult to talk about like directly, but it's such a fun one to think about and talk about like what it means and what it is.
I so when we watched Nazi propaganda all those weeks ago, I said like I'm not an unbearable like fascist art historian, so I don't have much to say. I feel like you could get a similarly unbearable Soviet art historian who could talk to you about 3 hours of this. It would at least be interesting to hear, right? Like there would be a
Yeah,
lot of stuff to talk about, even if the guy is like way too arty to be a presentable real person.
this is my thing, right? Like I do like artsy stuff for its own sake. I don't like it when it's like high pretense. I mean, you know, I like a big fan of Rothko, right? Big color, big use of acrylic, big really interesting, fun with the medium, right? Like an idiot will look at it and go like, "That's just like orange paint on a canvas. I could do that." And it's like, no, you couldn't. You actually couldn't. You couldn't create that paint. You couldn't create that depth. But at the same time, I don't really like the people who try to like wax lyrical about it. And I think
Yeah.
this kind of movie, there are people who would want to go into this thinking that it's like high art, fancy, and needs to be discussed like in that kind of tone. And like, I just don't think it does. I think you can watch this as like anyone with any level of knowledge and be like, "This is good. I like this. This is cool."
There is enough performance and fun with weird angles and stuff. Like a lot of I will occasionally go into like the deep depths of shonen slop anime discussions, and you'll see people
Nice.
talking about like a recent Jujutsu Kaisen fight that had a really like interesting dynamic heavy animation section where the camera got all like weird and distorted, and if you appreciate that kind of presentation of pseudo reality, you might get something from this. Maybe not, but you might do because it is pretty fun and like playful at times.
Yeah,
Uh,
I mean
you
the
just need to be
camera.
willing to accept that like film can, be about, I don't know. I don't want to say nothing, but like they can present just visuals and that's the pitch, right? There's not anything else in the way.
Yeah, it's that one, right? It's if you go into this like planning to dislike it because it's not a conventional movie with like with a plot structure and things. Yeah, you're probably not going to enjoy it very much. But if
Yeah,
you
have a
go
bad
into it
time.
and go, yeah, if you meet it where it's at, and like where it's at, really, I don't know. Maybe my brain is just a little bit fucked, but like I don't think it's actually that out there or that artsy fartsy. There are times where it's getting there, but I still think it's quite easy to appreciate for
I think
anyone.
watching it
Surely,
with the soundtracks, that one I mentioned that I watched with as well, especially helps, right? Because it's very modern, it's very like funky, pretty high pace. You watch this with some like classical, if you don't like like art nouveau, experimental film, you'll fucking hate it.
yeah, that I could see. Yeah, it's cool. I would say it's definitely one to watch. But it's also one where if you watch it and you're not really into it, it's not a big deal. You don't need to be
It's
into it.
kind of film that you can turn off in like 10 minutes if you don't think you're getting anything from it, because you're probably not, right?
Yeah, exactly, right.
Yeah.
But yeah, a hard one to
Yeah.
discuss. Definitely one
Yeah,
to.
definitely.
It'll be fun to do like a watch along with this one because
Yeah.
it's very
Yeah.
you can talk over it, you can talk about it. Yeah. Why is Mystery Science Theater not done as dirty on this one? They get all the dino. They do all the dino movies, but where's this one? I want to see a little robot talk about a
Oh,
live birth being filmed.
God. Oh,
So maybe
all
not
right.
campy enough for it.
No, definitely not. A bit too arty for MST 3K, but what are you gonna do?
Yeah, definitely a movie that if you watched high might stress you out more than just be a good time.
Yeah. It's time for Who Said That? The section of the show where I have gathered up 5 reviews. Each one is from one of our movies that we talked about today, from letterboxd.com, and I want Nathan to see if you can guess which one it is talking about.
It's going to either be an easy one this week or a very hard one this week.
A real mix. I think there's one Psycho review, which I don't even know what they're talking about, but the rest, maybe we'll see. Broadway Melody says, old, quaintly dated, but lots of fun if you like that sort of thing. Sorry, I've just literally said what movie it was.
Just
Hadrian Spade said that. Oh no.
let's cut that one.
That's fine. No,
we'll leave it in.
Right.
Yeah, you failed.
We'll leave it in. It's funnier. Here's one that's better. I won't say it. Herb says, I like the 20s, so this gets a pass.
I like the 20s. Oh god, all of our movies are in the 20s.
They're all from the 20s. I have gotten you.
This gets a pass. Can't be 1 week, because that movie gets more than a pass.
Mm-hmm.
Broadway Melody, I could see it. I could see saying I like the 20s. Broadway Melody is a very 20s movie about people
Indoor
in the
Sports
20s.
Is also a very 20s movie. And Man with a Movie Camera is like, it could be too arty, but it gets a pass.
I think you would have more to say about any other movie. I think it's Broadway Melody.
You got it. You figured it out.
I was going to say, Indoor Sports, I don't think that's what you'd say about it. You'd either say it was shit or you'd go, haha, I hate my wife as well. Or Man with a Movie Camera, you're going to have more to say about it because you're going to either fucking hate it or you're going to talk about it a bit more. And then obviously 1 week, I think like you're going to love that movie if you watch it. Like you can't just say this gets a pass.
Again, we're looking through the artifice, like where I've been specifically picking things. So even if people do have something to say about it, I am snipping and sniping.
No, that is true.
Here's one from Starboy Hero, who says, it gave me a migraine.
Gotta be Man with a Movie Camera.
It's actually 1 week.
Really?
This guy hates Buster Keaton.
Give him a migraine? What's he got? What's he got against that boy Buster?
I guess just like it's very intense, it's really stressful, there's a lot of like high energy flooding into your brain.
Yeah, I suppose. I guess I could kind of see it.
Kind of, yeah.
Wow.
Don't agree though. Hard disagree.
No,
here's one.
hard
J
disagree.
Price 03 says, at least in 30 years they figured out trains on the screen were not real.
Trains and the Scream are not real.
Trains on the screen.
Trains on the screen are not real.
So relying on the people running out of the theatre when the train's coming towards them kind of joke.
Yeah, Larry
Get
the
spooked
train
by
or
that
whatever.
fake train. Yeah.
Lumiere Brothers one. Well, so I mean that one was made up at the time, right? People didn't actually run screaming out of a. People knew
No,
that.
I don't
that
think Jay Price knows that.
No, yeah, it's definitely like a fun myth. I mean, the only one with a prominent train is 1 week, but I'm fairly certain that was a real train, or it was one hell of a compositing job.
It was a real train because it definitely blew through that house, just obliterating it.
Like, man, if that wasn't a real train, I don't know what they used. I guess I would have to say 1 week just for the train, or it could have been Man with a Movie Camera. Ooh. There were trains coming at the screen on that, or trams coming at the screen on that. Okay, Man with a Movie Camera.
You've done it. You figured it out. It was Man with a Movie Camera.
I think someone referencing, I'm sure it was the Lumiere brothers who did the train, is probably on a movie like that. They're not on 1 week.
Right, yeah. A bit arty, a bit like... Yeah.
Yeah, either like you're a bit arty or you've seen that one Jacob Geller video.
Yeah. I think we talked about Jacob Geller a lot in this series so far.
I'm a big fan of the guy, you know? He talks about art in a way I like.
Good stuff.
I've got his book on my desk right here.
Oh.
Yeah.
Here's our last one. From Jack Joyce. They say, I keep hating on TikTok, but it really is visual media stripped back to its original state in a lot of ways. It's just text on screen and something's happening and some movement that I don't understand, and then I drop my candle and get wax everywhere. It's a really funny way to end that psychotic review.
I think this guy thinks the 1920s were a lot further back than they were. You were doing stuff by electric light in the 1800s. You didn't... Candles went out of vogue quite early.
I've got some candles. We run out of electricity occasionally. Power gets
Yeah, but you
shot.
live in the middle of nowhere. That's different.
This is true.
I have a candle lit right now, but that's because it's a Sicilian lemon scented candle.
Ooh,
It's really nice. But I want to say it's Tads because we haven't had Tads, and I feel like that was the most TikTok feeling. But it could be Man with a Movie Camera because that could have felt like a lot of TikToks coming in at once.
Yeah, a lot of visual media stripped back to its original state, as he says.
Yeah, I'm going with Tad though.
You've got it. Indoor sports.
I'm so good at this shit, dude.
You've done pretty well this time, though I did give you one for free. So...
I think I needed like one, right? It's the golf handicap situation, right? Like
yeah.
I haven't been doing so hot on these, so it's nice to get a freebie.
No, that Nobody Knows week, I really messed with you.
Incredible, because not very similar movies.
Yeah, yeah.
Also,
but movies that make you depressed.
So... Yeah. Once again, telling the audience to go watch Nobody Knows. What a banger of a movie.
Crazy movie, crazy film. Indoor sports, less crazy, but it is interesting, because I got the review for it, and I did some filtering, and it's got to be on what is the low end of visibility on Letterboxd, I think, of all the movies we've watched. 141 people have it logged as watched. It has 7 likes. It has ratings above 3 stars, but 0 reviews above 3 stars.
Oh, okay.
So I feel like once you've got 100 people who log a thing as watched, it gets visible in whatever, sorting by most rated, least rated, that kind of thing. I think you need people to engage with it before it gets visible. Maybe a good reason for us to maybe talk about, setting a minimum amount of watched to consider something as a viable choice, because it really was a nothing movie that we've got nothing to say about other than it's like kind of needlessly cruel and poorly done.
Yeah, I think it's something that's going to pop up as we see these older movies as well, where older short pieces of like film, where it's not really like it's on Letterboxd because it is. It's not going to be like necessarily worth checking out. At the same time, though, I mean, it was a nothing movie with nothing to do, but it was also all of 2 minutes long.
True. Yeah. Just it's a shame that 1920 got represented by just Buster Keaton. It would have been interesting to see more of a wide spectrum.
If I was going to be represented by one thing, I'd take 1 week.
True.
But yeah, I think it's funny that it happens. I don't think this is going to be like a high science kind of like podcast setting.
No. This is very loose. Yeah,
I'm cool with it.
Yeah, that's fine. Okay, well, here is our tier list for the week. For the audio-only listeners, we have Bangers, Gold Star, It's Good, It's Fine, Too Interesting to Call Bad, Consolation Prize, and then Trash. Indoor Sports by Tad. Where do we think this goes? I'm thinking like below Epic Movie, but above our dinosaur movies.
I think it might just be below the dinosaur movies. Like it's one like newspaper cartoon level joke.
Yeah.
And not very well animated. It's also not a very funny joke. I will
give you Lost Continent. I refuse to put this below King Dinosaur.
You don't think it's...
King Dinosaur?
Yeah, that's fair.
Got like actively mad watching.
At no point in Indoor Sports did they actively kill an animal or make another animal kill another animal.
Yeah. Well, like it's got nothing to really talk about, but King Dinosaur has less than nothing, and it just makes me like mad when I think about it. So
I'll take
slot that one down there. 1 week. I'm thinking we put it on low banger because
low banger. I
can't
finish.
I
still can't believe he did that shit.
Crazy that he did that shit. Broadway
Actively
Melody.
Worth watching.
I'm thinking like low. It's fine.
I was gonna say Consolation Prize, but it is better than Super Babies.
It's better than Super Babies. When you take it for the 20s, it's not interesting, and with like,
it's also not actively like super terrible.
No, it is watchable.
I think it is actually fine. I think it's a non-movie. I'm happy with it, and it's fine.
I would watch Making of American before I watch this again, if only because it's shorter. Again, like if you recut Broader Melody to just be a comedy, you take out the weird stalker stuff, like you can make this movie 20 minutes shorter and make it pretty funny.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm fine with that. I'll buy it.
And then Man with a Movie Camera. This one is interesting because, like, it's definitely in one of these three. I'm just not quite sure. I feel like my thinking would be like a high, it's good. But it seemed
Yeah,
like you vibed with it a lot
it's.
more, so like I'm up for hearing your
I
depiction
mean,
of it.
to me, it definitely caps out in Gold Star. I don't think it's a banger.
Yeah. I'd
Is
be
it
comfortable
better than
putting it
anything? And
like
yeah, it's good.
above Sally Gardner.
I think it's worse than Ace in the Hole.
Worse than Ace in the Hole? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm comfortable with
Let's
that.
put
Like
it in.
I
Yeah,
did
it's good.
enjoy it, but I didn't really like fully, engage in the way that
This
I
is
think
my
it
thing,
wants to be
right?
engaged with.
I think you have to go into it in the way, like you said, like that it wants you to go into it, and also like I don't think it's that important to see.
Mm.
Like I think it's really cool that it exists, but also just I'll watch Ace in the Hole before I watch that again. Even though
Yeah,
again, I talk about how much I love that it can only be done in its medium. That alone doesn't make it a great movie.
yeah. And like the amount of things we had to talk about with Ace in the Hole, like we talked about the plot, obviously, but there was a lot of extrapolation and like, social matters that we could discuss there, just in terms of like, is this a movie that I want to talk about? Not really. I think it's good.
If this was the Soviet film history podcast,
Yeah, exactly. Yes, yes,
yeah.
yes.
But I think when we're just looking at movies as a whole, subjectively for ourselves, I can't say it's better than Ace in the Hole.
Yeah.
And I definitely can't put it above The Great Dictator.
There we go then. That's the new tier list. We've got a few more and a few more sections. We've actually got every section moderately filled out now.
We've also put a worst movie above a best movie.
Yep.
But I also hate
the Audette heads are coming for us. The Audette heads are going to kill us.
Fans of what? Danish cinema are going to kill me? That's fine.
Well, here's actually what I wanted to discuss, because I thought about this earlier. We've talked about a lot of bad movies now, and a lot of them has been like, I just don't want to talk about it because there's nothing interesting. I think Ice Cream Bunny needs to go like here. In too interesting to call bad above all that.
So, yeah, okay. I'm going to say that's true. I think the Pirate World connection really is selling me.
Such a shockingly bizarre, strange thing that, like, every time I think about it, I was going through and making shorts recently for this and just listening back to, like, what the fuck happened with that movie?
Ice Cream Bunny is an absurdity.
Oh. Alright, well, new tier list. We've done some shuffling. Well, we'll come back every now and again and just see if anything needs to be shuffled.
Yeah. I think, we've had our first retrospective on the Ice Cream Bunny, so it's in flux, right? It can be moved.
Yeah.
But, yeah, well, it's a living document.
Yeah, exactly. It's getting updated every week and whenever we feel like it. Speaking of when we feel like it, here's our wheel.
So I hope we get something, 1970 onwards.
Do you want to like veto if we get anything like 1920s or beforehand again? Because there's been a lot of that, it feels like.
I'm in it for the game.
In it for the game, okay.
I'm in it for the game.
Let's see what the game provides then. Oh.
Okay, well, I don't think we'll have to veto this one.
I know what this is. This is it's like 6 seconds of Saturn.
That sounds kind of cool, but yeah, let's.
So that's 1874 for reference, but yeah, we'll get another one. That was so nearly 2024, which would have been a hard film to talk about because I know what it is.
Oh, do you?
Yes, it's
1938.
Palestinian thriller about what's going on. 1938 though.
Yeah,
so let's
I'm glad
see.
I
We
don't need
have
to speak about like Israeli war crimes.
Yep. Yet at least. So 1974, we're going to show short films because we have here Passage of Venus, which is a few seconds of Venus.
Lovely poster.
1938, by film popularity, if we hide short films again. So, most popular 1938 is Bringing Up Baby, which we may not be watching because we have the lowest rated which is Sex
Oh,
Madness.
hell yeah. I wonder if this is also going to undersell me on the
Highest
title.
rated is Bringing Up Baby. Okay, well, let's look at Sex Madness. She sought big thrills and caused big trouble. A young beauty queen travels to New York to further her modeling career, but contracts syphilis after being tricked into a sexual encounter. She is torn between the prospect of a slow, intensive, but proven therapy and a supposed miracle cure. Oh no! It's Dwayne Esper!
Wait, is that? Oh no, that's Maniac,
That's
right?
Maniac!
Yeah. Oh, we get
You
to see another
motherfucker!
horrible movie. I can't believe he's our first like recurring character.
Recurring, yeah, it's 59 minutes. Ah, Dwayne Esper, you motherfucker. And Bring Up Baby by Howard Hawks. David Huxley is waiting to get a bone he needs for his museum collection. Through a series of strange circumstances, he meets Susan Vance, and the duo have a series of misadventures which include a leopard called Baby. What the fuck?
Is this where
102
nobody puts
minutes.
baby in the corner comes from? Or is I just
Maybe?
like I don't think it is. I
Oh,
just
Cary Grant
oh hell yeah.
and Katharine Hepburn. Charles Ruggles? What a name, dude. Holy
Great
shit.
name. Wow.
Howard
This
Hawks.
could
What
be
else
a
have you
fun
directed
one.
Howard Hawks? His Girl Friday, The Big Sleep, Scarface, but not that one.
Yeah, not the
Huh.
Scarface you're aware of.
Okay, well, that is Bring Up Baby, and that is Sex Madness, our first repeat director. And it's Dwayne Esper.
Esper is
God
going to be the
damn
end of me.
it, man. Actually, hold on, let's just quickly check. What is the...
It's worse than Maniac.
Oh no. Oh no.
So it's obviously going to be like a paranoia film, right? About the dangers of like casual sex, I guess.
I guess, yeah, he was big into these exploitative, like,
Yeah, like his
panic
movie
films.
Marijuana.
Marijuana. Ah, god
What a
damn it,
guy.
Dwayne Esper.
That'll be fun. I mean, I enjoyed watching Maniac a bit. I thought it was like a kooky mess. This is probably also going to be a kooky mess.
For it to be less popular, I feel like it's either going to be better made or less palatable. And I'm frightened at both of them because better made Maniac is still not a good film, and less palatable Maniac is unbearable.
There's probably going to be some words in this one that I don't want to hear.
Yeah,
Oh well.
very potentially.
Give this one a watch. That'll be fun, surely.
Yeah. So we have Passage of Venus, directed by a bunch of people. PJC Jansen is our first director, who we'll refer to. We have Sex Madness, directed by Dwayne Esper, and we have Bring Up Baby, directed by Howard Hawks. Those are our films for next week.
Well, on the plus side, they'll probably be easier to talk about.
Yeah, this feels like it'd be more conventional. I I don't want to watch Sex Man. And they call it Sex Maniac, dude. Dwayne, get out
He's
of
only
my
got the
head, you
one name.
motherfucker.
All right. Well, enjoy that, audience. You can
Yeah.
go watch some terrible movies, and we'll catch you with them.
Yeah, have a good time. See you then.
See you then.